Okay. All right, so we are recording. We are ready to rock and roll. So today we're going to do the second half of your notes where we're going to be talking about pronoun problems. So if you're still getting logged in, the code is in the upper right-hand corner for you. Okay, so let's all go to our notes. Make sure your homework is put away so we're not working on that. Let me get my life together here. Pull that up. Okay, so let's get started. We're picking up with pronoun problems. So yesterday we talked about all of the different pronoun forms that we might see. Today we're going to talk about some problems that arise when we use the different forms in incorrect ways. So the first thing that we're going to talk about with pronoun problems is a shift in number. Okay, and I'm not talking like the number of pronouns you use in a sentence. When I talk number, I'm talking about singular versus plural. Okay, so a pronoun has to agree with the noun or pronoun it refers to in a sentence. Okay, now this sounds complicated, but once I show you, it's actually pretty easy. Okay, now this noun or pronoun that a pronoun will refer to is called an antecedent. Sounds fancy, but again, pretty simple concept. So I'll show you examples here in just a second. All you guys have to know is if you have a singular antecedent, okay, so a singular word that your pronoun in the sentence refers to, that means that the pronoun you use also has to be singular. So here would be an example of kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, the antecedent is in bold. Okay, it's just the subject that this pronoun here is referring to. So the dying tree lost its leaves. Okay, so it is our pronoun, and it's referring to tree. Since tree is singular, meaning we're talking about one tree, that means that we have to use a singular pronoun, which is why we use its instead of like their, right? There would be a plural pronoun. Okay, so the pronouns, you can kind of tell if they're singular or plural, because if they're singular, they're just going to be referring to one person or thing, like he, him, she, it, that kind of thing. If they're plural, they're going to be referring to more than one thing. They, them, us, our, etc. Okay? So on the flip side, if you have a plural antecedent, so a plural word that your pronoun refers to, you have to use a plural pronoun. So here would be an example of that. Sarah and Greg is our antecedent. Okay? These are the two words that this pronoun here is referring to later on in the sentence. So Sarah and Greg act like newlyweds, but they have been married for years. We have to use they here because Sarah and Greg is plural, right? We're talking about both of them together, which means more than one, so we need that plural pronoun they. So when we're talking pronoun antecedent agreement, like this probably seems really basic, right? And a lot of times, you guys, it's common sense. Like it'll just sound right if it's right. What happens with pronoun antecedent agreement is that sometimes we have tricky pronouns, okay? And maybe we don't understand how the tricky pronouns are working, so we're not sure what should agree with what. So we're going to talk about a few of these pronouns that you need to know that might have stumped you up in the past. But now that you're going to know the rule, they're not going to stump you anymore. So the first one that we're going to talk about is what's called an indefinite pronoun. Does anybody remember what an indefinite pronoun is? It's right in the name. It's a pronoun that is not definite. You guys remember that? We talked about it back the first couple weeks of school when we were doing part of speech. So indefinite pronouns are just pronouns that do not refer to a particular person or thing. They are not definite in what they're referring to. So you have to know how the indefinite pronoun functions. Does it function singularly? Does it function plurally? Or, and this is what I hate about indefinite pronouns, we have some that can function either way. They can be singular or plural. And I'll show you those lists and kind of how we figure out how they're working in the sentence. Okay, so let's start with the singular indefinite pronouns. Okay, they're all listed here, and I believe this chart is in your notes, correct? Yes, I see it. Perfect. Okay, so this chart for you if you caught it. It is definitely on recording. All right, this chart, oh my gosh, Freudian slip or something, right? Shows all of your indefinite pronouns that will always be singular, okay? They're always going to be singular. So here would be an example of why we need to know this. Okay, so if you have an indefinite pronoun that's the subject of your sentence, and you have a pronoun that comes later referring back to that indefinite pronoun antecedent, you have to make sure they agree. If one is singular, then the other has to be singular. So look at this sentence here. One of my sisters has lost her job. Okay, one is our singular indefinite pronoun antecedent subject. Say that 5 times fast, okay? Okay, you guys don't need to know how to label that or anything. All you need to know is you need to be able to see, okay, this is the subject of the sentence. It's singular because it's one of the indefinite pronouns that's always singular. Okay, so later on in the sentence we have this pronoun her, which is referring to one. Okay, because we know that one is singular, that's why we have to use this singular pronoun her later in the sentence. Is this kind of sort of making sense? Maybe. We're going to do some practice here in just a minute. Okay, now one thing I want you guys to notice to help you remember this is obviously you're not always going to have the chart with you. Okay, especially not on the test. For your homework, use the chart. That's why it's there. Okay, but my little trick to remember your singular indefinite pronouns is this. If you look at your list, you guys, most of these will end in the words one, body, or thing. Look at it. One, everyone, everybody, everything, anyone, anybody, anything, no one, nobody, nothing, someone, somebody, something. Okay, most of these singular indefinite pronouns will end in one, body, or thing. So that's just kind of an easy way to remember it. And then, of course, you have these ones, right, that are just those randos, right, you'll kind of have to just get familiar with. But a good rule of thumb is to just kind of remember that trick. Okay, now we have the plural indefinite pronouns. The list is a lot smaller. And when you look at these plural indefinite pronouns, okay, you can kind of notice that they seem plural. When you read them, it kind of seems like they're talking about more than one person or thing, like both. You wouldn't say both if you're just talking about one person. You're talking about both things or both people, right? Many, referring to a lot. Several, referring to a lot. Few, it's referring to a couple, right? So these plural indefinite pronouns, they kind of sound like they should be plural. So, of course, when we have a plural indefinite pronoun antecedent, we have to make sure that our pronoun we use in the sentence agrees with it. So it also has to be plural. So here's an example of that. Both of my brothers worked their way through college. So we have this both here, this indefinite pronoun antecedent subject, right? Basically, we just know this is plural, it's the subject, which means if we use a pronoun later in the sentence, it should also be plural, because it's referring to this plural subject, both. Beach? Think so. Okay, and I already kind of said this. It just notice that the pronouns themselves kind of imply that they're plural. Okay, friends. This is where it gets tricky. Lathan, you with me? We're on the paradox still? Okay. Justin, this is where it gets tricky. So this list right here are indefinite pronouns that can either be singular or they can be plural. What? How are we supposed to know that? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we do. Okay, so to determine how these pronouns are functioning in the sentence, whether they're singular or plural in the sentence, all you have to do is you have to look at the noun that the indefinite pronoun is referring to. And most of the time, you guys, when you see these indefinite pronouns, they're going to be followed by a prepositional phrase. And that prepositional phrase will tell you if it's talking about one thing or more than one thing. So here would be an example. Some of the pie is fine. Okay, so some is our subject. It's our indefinite pronoun. Pie is what this pronoun is referring to. So since pi is singular, this sum functions singularly. Okay, so all you have to do is you have to think about, okay, what is this indefinite pronoun referring to in the sentence? And is that word it's referring to singular or plural? In this case, it's singular. So when we use our pronoun later in the sentence, we have to make sure it's also singular in nature. So some of the pie is fine, but its crust is burnt. So here would be an example of some being used plurally. Okay, some of the students. So here, some is referring to students. It's referring to that plural noun, which means that some becomes plural. So when we use a pronoun later in the sentence, we need to make sure we use the plural pronoun. Some of the students forgot their books. Kind of making sense? We're going to practice here in just a second. Okay, so after this one, we'll do some practice with all of these. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about are collective nouns. Does anybody remember what a collective noun is? Oh man, you were like, I'm never going to have to know parts of speech again, so I'm just going to put it out of my brain. Wrong. What's a collective noun? Auburn.
It's like the noun group.
Yes, it refers to a group. Beautiful. Okay, so collective nouns just refer to a group of people, a group of things, considered to be one unit. So what would be examples of some collective nouns you guys can think of? Shout them out. Team. Class. Staff. Yeah, all the things. Band. Right? All of those are collective nouns. Nice job. So collective nouns are usually singular in nature. So if they are the subject of a sentence, that means that you need a singular pronoun to refer to them. So here would be an example. The class started late. So class is our subject, okay? And then it ended early. It is the pronoun that's referring to the class antecedent. So since class is singular, this it also needs to be singular. You say it instead of they, right? Now, this is where collective nouns get kind of tricky, okay? Because if the collective noun, and I do kind of like a visual with my hands, that makes this easier to understand, so you might want to look. If the collective noun is working together as one unit, okay, so they're working together as one, then they're singular. But if the collective noun is working individually, then it's plural, okay? So if they're working together as one unit, it's going to be singular. If they're working as individuals, then it's going to be plural, because they're all going off and doing their separate things. So let's look at an example of that. So this one would be an example where class is functioning plurally, not singularly. The class handed in their essays before vacation. Okay, in this instance, the class did not work together to write one essay, right? They all wrote their own essays. So they're all working as individuals, which means you have a lot of individuals that are writing different essays. That makes it plural. So in this instance, you would need the plural there to refer to the class instead of its. Does that kind of sort of make sense? All you have to do is ask yourself, are they working together as one unit and need a singular pronoun, or are they working as individuals and need a plural pronoun? Just remember that visual. Singular, plural. Okay, let's do some practice now. So you guys just need to drag your dot over the correct pronoun. Get your notes, think it through. Figure out what word in this sentence is that pronoun referring to, and then make sure that whatever word it's referring to, if it's singular, you choose the singular pronoun. If it's plural, you choose the plural pronoun. finish in 5. All right, let's look at this together. What word in this sentence is our pronoun referring to? What is our antecedent? Creighton? Yes, okay. Actually, it's just one, right? So just one. He said no one, but yeah, one. Okay, what is that one? We just have to ask ourselves, is it singular or plural? Who remembers? We just talked about it. Is one singular or plural, Kate? It's singular because it's an indefinite singular pronoun. Okay, it's on that little chart with all of your singular indefinite pronouns. Remember I told you if it ends in one body or thing, it's singular. So here we have a singular antecedent, which means we need to choose the singular pronoun. What? But Mrs. Berg, neither of these are singular. Au contraire. Okay? This his or her is singular. Because it's saying you can either say his or you say her. We're not saying both together. It's one or the other. So whenever you see this his or her, that is your singular pronoun. So the answer is his or her. We didn't do so hot on that one, but we're going to try again. All right, try this one. Find the word that the pronoun is referring to. Find the antecedent first. Ask, is it singular or plural? Your pronoun that you choose should match. Let's finish in 5. What is our antecedent in this sentence? What is the word our pronoun is referring to? So, committee. Okay? What kind of a word is that? Who remembers the name of that? Lauren? It's a collective noun. Okay? So I have a collective noun that my pronoun is referring to. So I remember Mrs. Berg saying what I have to do is I have to figure out, are they working together as one unit or are they working separately as individuals? If they're working together as one unit, it's singular. If they're working separately as individuals, it's gonna be plural. Head up. Thank you. All right, so what do we think? Are they working together or are they working separately? We're going to take a vote. Raise your hand if you think they're working together. Raise your hand if you think they're working separately. You want to change your answer now? I feel like half of you probably want to change your answer. Okay, I think you all got it. They're working together. Okay, so it's singular, which means we need the singular pronoun. I want everybody to shout it out. What is our singular pronoun? Go! It! Should have chosen it. Do you see how we work through this process? You just have to take it step by step. Ask yourself, what is the pronoun referring to? Is it singular or is it plural? Then you choose the pronoun that matches. Okay, let's try again. Try this one. All right, let's try to finish in 5. They said, I go. Aiden. Maybe not, no, Oh, you guys, so much better. I think we're starting to get it. Okay, so help me out. What word is our antecedent? What is our pronoun referring to? Auburn?
Both.
Both. Okay, we have to figure out, is it singular or plural? So, why? Okay, so both implies more than one. Okay, but also you could look at the pigs. The pigs is implying more than one. So since it's plural, we need to choose our plural pronoun. So what are we going to choose? His or her or their? Which one's plural? Everyone. There. There is our plural. That matches our plural antecedent. Nice job. You guys are getting a lot better at this. All right, try this one. Be careful and think it through. Let's finish in 5. Oh, it's not working again. Here we go. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, let's work it out together. Where's our antecedent in this sentence? Who or what is the pronoun referring to? Diana. Yeah, quartet. Quartet. Okay, what is that? Auburn.
Like, 4 people.
Okay, so what would we call it from our notes? 4 people.
Collective noun.
It's a collective noun, right? It's a group of people. 4 people. It's a group of people. Okay, so remember, you guys, most of the time collective nouns are singular. But if they refer to the group all working as individuals, then it's going to be plural. So all we have to do is we have to ask ourselves, since we know we have a collective noun here, are they working together as one unit, or are they working separately as individuals? So let's take a look at what the sentence is saying. The quartet carried its or their instruments all the way to the concert. Are they all working together to carry the instruments on like one platform and everybody's holding a corner, do you think? Or do you think they're all coming from their separate houses and carrying their own instruments to the concert? What do you think is probably happening here? Are they working together to carry all the instruments at once, or are they working as individuals to carry their own instruments separately? Marcus? Probably their own instruments separately. So Marcus, I'm going to continue to pick on you. If they're doing that and they're working separately, is it singular or is it plural? Yeah. Okay? When we're working together as one unit, it's singular. When we're working separately as individuals, it's plural. Okay, so if that collective noun is plural, what do we need to choose here? Its or their? Which one's plural, you guys? Everybody.
There.
There! Ooh, tricky. Okay, you have to think these out. Find your antecedent. Ask yourself, is it singular or plural? And then choose the pronoun that agrees. Right? I know that this is not easy, but you guys are doing a really good job. All right, we're going to go back to our notes. So we're going to talk about some other errors that occur when we use pronouns. So the first one we're going to talk about is pronoun shifts in person. So what this refers to is like first person, second person, third person. Okay, so remember, just as a reminder, first person pronouns are pronouns that refer to the person who is speaking. I, me, we, us, our. Second person pronouns are pronouns that refer to someone being spoken to. You, your. Third person pronouns refer to another person or thing. He, she, it, they, them, etc. Okay? Just as a reminder, but we already knew that. And we call those point of view, right? So here's a little chart. I don't know, do you guys have that in your notes?
Yes.
You do? Okay, sweet. So it just reminds you of what all of the different pronouns are and how they're classified first, second, or third. So what happens here, okay, is when a writer shifts point of view or shifts person, the writing becomes less clear. So when we were writing our historical event essays, I told you over and over again, you need to make sure that you maintain a consistent point of view. So I said, you're either going to write in first person or third person, but you cannot flip-flop between the two, right? Because it's a really bad writing mistake that people make. So what you have to do is if you have this flip-flop between like first and third or third and first or first and second or whatever, you just have to fix it. So here would be an example of an error that has a combination of 2 points of view in a sentence. So take a look at this. The worst thing about my not writing letters is that you never get any back. So within one sentence, we're switching from the first person point of view to the second person point of view. And that's just bad writing, okay? We don't want to do that. So the way that you fix it is you just change one of the pronouns to match the point of view that you're writing in. So here's how we would fix this. The worst thing about my writing is not, oh my gosh. The worst thing about my not writing letters is that I never get any back. So we flip that you to an I to maintain that first person point of view. Now both of our pronouns are first person. Okay, it's a really easy mistake to make, but it's also a really easy mistake to fix. You just need to be aware of it, okay? So let's give this a little bit of practice here. I need you to choose the appropriate pronoun to maintain a consistent point of view in this sentence. Let's try to finish in 5. Okay, great job. Most of us got this one right. Oh, this is one off the deep end there. Can't even see you so far off. Okay, so it's they, right? This sentence is written in third person point of view. So we want to maintain that third person point of view. Okay, it's not written in first person. It's written in third person. So they is correct. Try this one. Try to finish in 5. Okay, pretty good job. It is you, okay, because we have a you up here at the start of the sentence. The sentence is starting in second person point of view, so you need to maintain that second person point of view. If we flip to 1, that's flipping to third person, okay? A good rule of thumb for second person, if you see a you earlier on, you should use a you later on too. All right, try this one. Here. Five.
2.
1, we got it. Everybody got 100%. Nice job, okay? It's written in third person point of view. We need to maintain that third person point of view by choosing they. Great job. Okay, the next error we're going to talk about is an unclear pronoun reference. Okay, so a pronoun has to clearly refer to its antecedent. And we were just talking about that when we were talking pronoun antecedent, right? Antecedent is just a fancy way of saying the word the pronoun refers to earlier in the sentence. Okay? So if the reference is unclear, so it's unclear what an antecedent is referring to, the sentence becomes really confusing for the reader. Even if it makes sense to you, somebody else reading it might not understand. So there are two errors that can occur when we're using pronoun antecedents. You could have two possible antecedents. So you could have a pronoun that could refer to one thing, or it could refer to another thing in the sentence. It's just not clear which one it's referring to. You could also have no antecedent. So you could have a pronoun in the sentence and have nothing that it's referring to, and that's a big mistake as well. So we're going to take a look at both of these mistakes that we can make with pronoun reference. So we're going to start with the error of having two antecedents. Okay, so if there are two possible words that your pronoun could be referring to, that's a big mistake and you need to fix it. So here would be an example of that. Eva told her mother that she had received a postcard from Alaska. She is our pronoun, but we don't know if she is referring to mother or if it's referring to Eva, because we have two possible she's in the sentence. Okay, so we don't know who received the postcard. Okay, here's another example. I wrote a to-do list with my purple pen and now I can't find it. Well, what can't you find? The list or the pen? So this is what I mean by having two possible antecedents. Okay, now the way that we fix this is all you have to do is, there's like two things that you can do. The first thing that you can do is you could use the speaker's exact words. So you could use a direct quote. So here would be an example of that. So there's our error again with the postcard example. We could rewrite it to say this. Eva told her mother, quote, I received a postcard from Alaska. Then it's clear that Eva is the one receiving the postcard. Okay, another case, another way that you can fix this error is that you can just replace the pronoun with the word it was meant to refer to. So I have our second example to do that one. So instead of saying I can't find it, and we don't know if it is pen or list, what we can do is we can just fill in this it with what exactly we can't find. So I wrote a to-do list with my purple pen and now I can't find the list. Okay, so those are two possible ways that you can fix that error. Okay, next up is having no antecedent. So sometimes we have a pronoun in a sentence and it's not clear what it's referring to because there's no word in the sentence for it to refer to. So here would be an example of that. I just received our cable TV bill. They said the Disney Channel is providing a free preview next month. But we don't know who they is because they doesn't have anything in the sentence to refer back to. It doesn't have an antecedent. Okay, here's another one. My older brother is a chemist, but that doesn't interest me. Well, what doesn't interest you? Chemistry or your brother? We just really don't know. It doesn't have anything to refer to. Okay, so to fix this type of problem where you don't have an antecedent, all you have to do is replace the pronoun with the word or words that it's meant to refer to. Okay, so look at this first example, our cable TV bill. They said the Disney Channel is providing a free preview. Just replace the word they with who exactly you're talking about. So here would be the fix. The cable company said the Disney Channel is providing a free preview next month. Okay, then it becomes clear who or what you're talking about. Okay, let's take a look at that second example sentence. My older brother is a chemist, but that doesn't interest me. Again, what doesn't interest you? Our revision would just replace that with chemistry. So it's clear that chemistry is the thing that doesn't interest you. This is kind of sort of making sense? Alrighty, let's do some practice. Oh, fine. Alright, so what I want you guys to do here is I just want you to cross out the pronoun error and then write a correction. So you can either draw it in or you can type it in, it's up to you. Okay, I see some of you haven't even started responding yet. I need you all to respond. You're trying to find the error that we just talked about. What? Why? Oh no. Is that happening to anybody else? A couple of you. Okay, yeah, I'm going to respond. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, let's try to finish in 5. All right. We did really well identifying the pronoun error, partly because there's only one pronoun in this sentence, right? So if you know your pronouns, you found the pronoun error. It's they. Can anybody explain what our error is here? What is our error? Why can we not say they? Look in your notes, see if you can figure it out. Lathan, what do you think? Thank you, Lathan. We don't know who they is. We don't have an antecedent for they. Okay, so how do we fix that error? What do we have to do if we don't have an antecedent? Look in your notes if you don't know. It's right in front of you, you guys. Use your notes. If we have no antecedent, how do we fix it? We literally just talked about it. Yes, Maddie. Yes, we replaced the pronoun with the word it was meant to refer to. So you guys, you just have to ask yourself, who do you think would be giving out a free bowl of pickles at the deli? Who do we think would be giving out free pickles? Marcus? No. No. Who at the deli would be giving out a free bowl of pickles? The deli is not a human. The deli can't hand you a bowl of pickles. Auburn, what do you think? Yes, maybe the workers, the servers, maybe the owners, right? So that's all you have to do is you just replace that they with whomever you think is giving out those free pickles, okay? All right, let's try another one. So again, you're crossing out the pronoun error, and then you're writing in the fix. Okay, let's take about 5 seconds to finish up here. Okay. You gotta find the pronoun error. Well, good news is there's only one pronoun in this sentence. So if you can identify your pronouns, you probably found the error. Where is the error? Million. It. Okay, it is our pronoun error. Can anybody explain to me what error is happening here? Yeah, Million, go ahead. Yes, we don't know what it is talking about. It has 2 possible antecedents. Is it talking about the phone or is it talking about the pillow? We don't know. So how do we fix it? How do we fix it? Creighton. Yes, we just have to replace this pronoun it with whatever word it was meant to refer to. So it doesn't matter what you guys chose. Okay, you could say, you could cross out it and write, I can't find the phone, or I can't find the pillow, I can't find the cordless phone, I can't find the red pillow. Okay, whatever you wanted to replace it with, that would be your correct revision. Is this making a little more sense? Do you guys want to do more practice, or do you just want time to work on your homework? Homework? All right, let's do homework. So your homework is that packet you picked up from the back cube. Okay, so go ahead and pull it out. You've got a solid 5 minutes to get started on it. Remember, you only have to do the odd numbers. If you want to do the even numbers for more practice, when I post the answer key, I will post all of the answers. Okay, but you only have to do the odd for your homework. Okay, now remember, you guys, I want to just give you a quick reminder. So on Monday, we're done learning grammar. Okay, this is all the grammar we're going to learn for this unit. I told you it was really short. On Monday, we're going to do a review, and then your test is on Tuesday. So I would definitely spend some time this weekend looking back over your worksheets, checking the answer keys that I'll post on Google Classroom, and maybe doing some extra studying at home this weekend for that test on Tuesday. Okay? All right, if you have questions as you're working, let me know.